Hey guys, welcome to our spoiler review of Blood Promise by Richelle Mead. This is the fourth book in the Vampire Academy series.
I seriously thought that this was the second last book in the series, and then I finished it and I went on Goodreads and it was like, by the way, there are two more, and I was just like, oh my god.
Blood Promise changes it up. We are actually moving away from the Academy, which is like so cool and different and like just provides a whole bunch of opportunities for new things to pop up. Rose in the last book, Dimitri got turned into a Strigoi, so she vows that she's going to put him out of his misery, and that means leaving Lissa and the Academy behind and following him to Russia because he somehow managed to get on a plane and exit the country because I don't think he swam there.
I like to think he swam there. I mean, he doesn't need to breathe. He could literally walk to Russia.
But it would take so long. Like, he's strong, but is he like against the ocean current strong?
Well, he could eat some seals.
This is like a whole side plot.
So Rose is in Russia and she's looking for Dimitri, and she's also just killing Strigoi because what else are you gonna do? And I'm kind of jealous of her because she's staying at this like 5-star hotel and she's going to all these like uber fancy clubs and wearing all these super fancy clothes. And at first I was like, I don't know how you have this money. And then I remembered about Adrian and I'm like, I need a rich friend.
So she's looking for Dimitri and she's trying to track down the blood horse.
Woo!
Oh my god, I'm so sick of hearing that word. Like,
Yeah, me too.
just...
It's...
Can we get off our high horse, please?
And so one night she's leaving a club and she gets jumped by a Strigoi and she kills the Strigoi, and this girl comes up to her and is just like, oh my god, I totally knew it was you, like you're such a problem, and then proceeds to disappear the Strigoi's body. And Rose is just like, what?
This girl turns out to be a girl named Sydney and she's an alchemist. And you're like, what is an alchemist?
New terminology.
Alchemists are a group of humans who have realized that vampires exist and that they need to be kept under wraps, because you'll have people being like, I want to be a vampire, and like being chased down by Strigoi. So they're like, alright, we're gonna keep this low key, we're gonna help you make sure that, you know, nobody is any the wiser, we have connections with government and politicians and blah 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 blah, but also you guys are demons and unholy and fuck you.
So, of course, Sydney is just like, yes, you are a vampire, and you are a problem, and you're a monster, and blah, blah, blah. And Rose is just like, okay, I'm not a monster, but...
You know, you do you.
Sydney's higher-ups make her take Rose to Dimitri's village.
And, you know, she kind of does it begrudgingly. And the more she kind of realizes why Rose is going there and what she wants, then... like, the more she kind of gets to like Rose. And
but she just disappears, like, halfway through the novel. She just pieces. She's like, nope, I'm done, bye.
Yeah, and you're like, wait, what? I thought you were like a character.
I thought you were a character. I thought we were like establishing you as like a stand-in Lissa, kind of, like someone who Rose can bounce off of. And not that Rose needs like a moral center, but like
she kind of like needs companionship.
Yeah, exactly, because she's going through a pretty rough time with the whole like her boyfriend's dead. Yay. But not really, because he's just a monster.
Yeah. I mean, that was weird, but I have a feeling she'll come back later.
Most likely.
And she's definitely in the spin-off series.
Okay.
Which we just discovered exists, if you didn't know.
Yeah.
So Rose actually really likes Dimitri's town and Dimitri's family. There are no blood whores, and she's super excited about that. Like, oh my god, it's not what I thought it was.
Except, actually...
Except there's like a couple.
Okay, so the whole relationship between Rose and the family is interesting. I don't know how I feel about it, because on one hand they like accept her right away and she's basically treated like she's Dimitri's widow. She's being mothered by them and it's like emotional support that she's never really experienced. But at the same time, like later on in the novel when Rose leaves it, she's like, no, but this life is not for me, and like kind of looks down on it in a way, and I'm like, no, like you had a really good opportunity here to be like, not everyone needs to be a guardian, and you can have a normal life, and like, it's okay to value family.
Suddenly, she's just like, no, that was wrong. You're like, no.
It's like a bizarro Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Which is what I told Chelsea. It's like, Rose is just like, got this new sense of adventure, and it's like, I don't need to tie myself to Lissa. I'm allowed to be me. I'm allowed to have wants and needs, and like a life to myself, and like my entire life I was supposed to like take care of her, but who's gonna take care of Rose? And she goes off on this grand adventure and she gets there and like she sees what somewhat of a normal-ish life is like, and she's like, no, I don't want this. This is awful. There's no place like home. I never want to leave. I'll be your guardian. And you're just like... okay.
But I mean, it also kind of didn't come from her. It's
Yeah.
the weird part is like everybody's like, no, you're not meant for this life. And then she's like, oh, I guess I'm not meant for this life. And you're like, lady, come on, make up your own mind. Like, she has Abe, she has the grandmother, and just like the other unpromised guardian.
It's kind of
vampires.
like when a character goes into fairyland and everything's a party, and then it's like, no, you have to leave because it's not what it seems.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you just want to, like, sit on the couch and watch Netflix.
Yeah, like, maybe, like, emotional support is a good thing.
Grieving is normal. Like,
Yeah.
grieving is absolutely normal. Sometimes you just need to not do something and, like, grieve.
Yeah. Rose also meets another spirit couple who is like shadow kissed. She kind of learns a bit from them about the capabilities of spirit. She meets Dimitri'S grandmother, who's like an old, almost psychic woman, who's like, I saw you as a shining star. And you're like, ugh.
You're absolutely nothing. You're practically useless. Like, you let me down. And Rose is just like, what happened? I just got here.
And then she meets Abe, who is her father.
Okay, so what happens is Sydney and Rose are staying at this house, and Rose senses a Strigoi. She goes out to fight the Strigoi. She gets jumped, she gets attacked, and she needs to be healed. And so they're rushing her to the town where Dimitri's mother is, because Dimitri's mother is a healer. And this man shows up. He rushes her there, and everybody's like, oh my god, like, Abe, why did he rescue you? Like, he's such like a big guy, and like, he's kind of sketch. And I'm like, it's her father. Like, nothing. It's just like, it's her father.
The second she says he has a weird accent, I was like, that's her father. It's
her father.
Turkish. What kind of American would be like, I don't understand this accent? She's Turkish.
So yeah, and he's kind of like creepy in a way that he's like, I have power. I'm not like a Morai royal, but look at all this power I have. I have all these guardians, and I can make anything He's basically Littlefinger.
Yeah.
Like
he's a total, like, mob boss. And so he's, like, super interested in her, and she's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, why? And he's like, I was hired. And she's like, okay. And he's like, go back to the US. And she's like, I don't want to.
So her time in the town is kind of wrecked when she goes out with Dimitri's younger sister, and she finds out that Dimitri's younger sister has been fooling around with this Morai guy who just like
sleeping around.
And, you know, he just wants her for her blood.
Yeah, and it turns out that he's been like, he banged her sister and is the father of her nephew, so, you know.
And so by stopping that from happening, Dimitri's sister's like, I never want to see you again. And Rose is like, I have to leave.
And Abe's like, I will take care of this situation if you just go back to the US.
She's like, okay, I'll leave. See me leaving?
Bye.
And so she ends up hooking up with a bunch of Strigoi hunters who aren't guardians, and they go off on this tangent. And she basically becomes like their pack leader.
Yeah, 100%.
Teaches them how to hunt better, and they hunt down a Strigoi, and this Strigoi knows who Dimitri is, and so she starts getting out this message being like, tell Dimitri that Rose Hathaway is looking for you. And so Dimitri finally comes for her.
He just kind of like pops up and is like, hey, knocks her on the head and drags her away. You're like, oh, well, that did not go the way I expected.
This is gonna be great.
So Rose wakes up in a room, and it's basically an unbreakable room. Like, everything is reinforced, and there's like a double door system with like intense key codes. And the only people basically she sees is this one servant woman and Dimitri. And Dimitri's like, listen, you know, if you're gonna kill me, you would have stabbed me when you first saw me, and you didn't. So, you know, I want you to become a Strigoi. You want you to become a Strigoi, you just don't know it yet. I'm going to give you the choice to choose to become a Strigoi because you'll be looked on better by the rest of the Strigoi community if you choose.
Yeah.
And Rose is like, no thanks. And he's like, but what if I kissed you? And she's like,
I like kissing.
And he's like, what if I bite you? And she's like, ooh, that's nice.
And so she basically goes on like this LSD bite-infused bender, which I thought went on for months.
Yeah, right?
And I really wanted it to go on for months, but it went on for like 3 days, 3 to 4 days. I'm like, this is upsetting.
Yeah. However long you thought it was going on.
It's not even that.
It might have been a week. Like, but I mean, I guess that's kind of fine because she sits there in a haze, so, you know, time doesn't seem like very...
But she's like, he visits me I don't know, it just felt like...
Yeah. I agree.
It felt like it should have been, like, revealed to be longer, and then she'd be like, oh my god, I lost 2 months of my life, you know?
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Then overcoming it would seem more difficult, almost.
Yeah,
like,
not like, I went low, and now I'm back up, it's been 3 days.
Yeah.
Damn, that was a hard struggle.
And so eventually she realizes, man, I need to get out of here, this is bad, I need to kill Dimitri, this is bad, oh my god, this is so bad.
Like, obviously, when a vampire or a Strigoi bites you, you get these endorphins, which is why, you know, blood whores, they're like drug addicts, and they're addicted, and sex, and nonsense. But anyways, so now Rose has become the thing that she hated and despised, and you'd think that would give her, like, a better perspective on it, and being like, empathy, maybe? And maybe stop calling them blood whores, but no.
Not really.
I guess maybe there's a chance that she gets a little more reflexive in the next book. Doubt it.
And so the big thing with Dimitri is that earlier in the book, when she was with the other spirit couple, they gave her this little spirit-infused ring that will help, you know, kick off some healing. So, like, you know, she's really hurt, or, like, she's dealing with the depressive moods when she pulls, like, the negative energy out of Lissa, she can use this ring and it'll make her feel a little bit better. So the totally not expected twist is that spirit users can heal Strigoi. So there's this good, cute little scene, which I liked, where Dimitri is, like, he picks up the ring and he's kind of fiddling with it, and they're talking, and they have their most normal conversation yet. And it's not about the two of them and how much they love each other, which was
Thank
like,
God.
thank God. It was, Rose was telling him about his family, and he was reacting, like, you know, affectionately towards his family, like you do. And, like, I thought that was, like, really well done, because it's subtler than just, like, I love you so much.
Yeah. Rose has, like, she's basically got nothing, and as she's here, she kind of has time to finally go back and, like, see Lissa, because Adrian's been contacting her off and on, and she's kind of just told him to fuck off. Finally, he comes to her for help, and she's too blissed out to, like, decide that, oh yeah, shit is bad back home, I need to go back there. But Lissa has becoming more and more crazy and, like, party animal-ish and just getting into a whole bunch of trouble, and there doesn't seem to be a reason for it that she can see. It's not like the spirit darkness or anything. It's just
It just looks like she's making bad decisions.
real bad decisions.
It's like you were rolling really low on your checks in D&D.
And Avery is this girl she had just kind of met after Rose left. Avery's into Adrian, and Adrian's starting to be into her, and, you know, Lissa's been relying on her more, and it turns out that Avery has secretly been a spirit user, and her guardian is, like, shadow-kissed and, like, bound to her, and her brother is shadow-kissed and bound to her. So they've got this weird balance thing going, and, like, the more people, I guess, you have bound to you, the harder it is to, like, level out spirit and darkness and using your powers and all that. So Avery's a little, like, woo!
But she hides it real good.
Yeah, and her brother and the guardian are just, like, really, like, aggressive and, like, off-kilter. Basically, Rose, through Lissa's head, realizes that Avery is a spirit user, and when she realizes it, Lissa is on a ledge. And Avery's basically telling her to jump.
Lissa's entire life is crashing and burning at this point. She ended up kissing a guy at a party, and she didn't tell Christian that she did it. This other person told Christian, and Christian was like, no, I can't do this. Like, we need some space. And so that kind of, like, sent her spiraling more, and so it's just, like, not great.
Yeah.
Things aren't great. Things are not good.
Rose is stuck in this unbreakable room, and she's realizing that things are kind of wrong with Lissa, but she has to get out of here because the Strigoi have put, like, a time limit, and if, you know, she hits that time limit, they're just gonna turn her no matter what she wants. So she realizes that Dimitri had, like, damaged one of the unbreakable chairs in the room, so she uses it, she makes a stake, and she manages to take the servant woman on and get out of the room. And a big fight ensues as she, like, fights her way through the mansion. She stabs Dimitri at one point, doesn't do a very good job. He regenerates and comes after her.
This is just like an ongoing thing. Rose stabs Dimitri. Does not work. Rose runs. Rose stabs Dimitri. Does not work. Rose runs. Rose almost jumps off a bridge. Dimitri falls off a bridge. I'm done. It's over. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like,
So like she manages to kill the big boss of the mansion. Dimitri comes after her and he like chases her. She manages to like get the drop on him in a forest. In like a last ditch attempt to get away from him, she like jumps off a bridge and he catches her, and then she uses her stake to stab him in the heart when he's like occupied, I guess, and he falls off the bridge and she manages to survive.
And so she gets rescued and brought back to the spirit couple, and she's like, things are going on at home, I need to help Lissa. That's when she realizes that Lissa is on the window ledge, and so through some combined spirit magic, she gets like extra boosted back into Lissa's head without Avery's ability to kick her out, and so that Lissa and Rose have to work together to beat Avery.
And, she can finally kind of communicate with Lissa in her head with this extra boost, and it's like this big fight against the Guardian, the brother, and Avery, and it results in, like, Avery going insane because there's just too much spirit magic kind of
flowing through her.
Yeah, and she just kind of loses her mind. Of course, Rose also finds out from the spirit users, there was this one guy who was a spirit user claimed that he had healed the Strigoi. And she's like, oh shit.
And it is the brother of the uncle that we've put in jail.
Victor Dashkov. So Rose is like, well, that's never gonna happen. We're never gonna find this guy. And plus this guy is old, the brother's old, and he's like gone to ground. He's like a hermit somewhere. So, and Dimitri's dead, so like, doesn't matter anyways.
And so she gets back, she has a reunion, and the Guardians at their school are like, you should just re-enroll and become a Guardian. And she's like, can I do that? And they're like, yeah! And she's like, okay, I'll do that. I'll be a Guardian. This is my calling. Yay! And then she gets a box from Dimitri being like, you didn't kill me. And she's just like, why are you still alive?
Like, how many times do I stab you, fuck? And he's coming for her.
That's basically where the book ends. And my prediction is, okay, so they're going to find a way to save him. And they're either going to find a way to save him and save him at the very end of the next book, so that for the last book he can be all like, but I killed people, Rose. I was a monster. How can we be together when all of the awful things I've done? Like have just a book of him just being like an edgelord in the corner. Or he's going to be healed in the last book, and it's gonna be like big, and we're gonna skip the whole I killed people Rose.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're gonna go through a like Lissa changing up the vampire hierarchy phase. She seems like really kind of into it and impassioned about it this book, and I think that Tatiana is gonna die and Rose is gonna become the next queen, and she's gonna be like, I am the last queen.
Adrian and Rose are going to go on at least 3 dates.
Yep.
Before Dimitri is back. Yep. And so Rose is going to either cheat on Adrian with Dimitri or have a hard time separating herself. Queen will definitely die. Do you think Dimitri will kill the queen? Who knows?
That'd be fun.
That would be fun. When do you think Christian and Lissa are going to get back together?
Oh, it's going to be like near the end of the next book. It won't be for that long. Because honestly, it's stupid because she was like literally being compelled to make out with someone. Yeah. So that the fact that he's flipping a shit about this after he finds out that she was compelled doesn't make any sense.
I can understand that why he'd still be upset, because like you can't just exactly turn an emotional reaction off. But I don't think that gives him, like, he should be cutting her out. He could be like, we need to work through this. I'm still hurt. I know this wasn't your fault, but it still kind of sucks. But, like, I realize that stonewalling you probably did not help everyone in this situation. We're going to be rocky for a little bit, but I love you and we can work through this. But that is me, an adult, not a teenager.
Not emotionally invested.
It's so much easier to be like,
this is how it should work.
No, emotions are stupid, especially when your hormones are like 11.
Yeah.
You know?
So, anyways. Yeah, all in all, it was a good book. It didn't go where you thought it went, which
kind
of
nice. Definitely felt like the middle book a little bit.
Yeah, like it was getting stuff out of the way that needed to be done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I liked her grieving over Dimitri. That felt pretty real and natural, and I liked the family aspect of it too.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. Things you're gonna remember, I really liked the climactic action. Like, it had like 2 solid like action things to it. And that was good. And I liked that it changed it up a bit. Still a decent series.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll pick up the next book next year, as we always do.
Anyways, this has been our review for Vampire Month. If you liked our reviews, give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and it'll really help us out, guys. Thanks so much.
Bye.